Gao Wu. After severing the relationship, he awakened his S-level talent. Chapter 21. Second place Zhang Muchen, 970 feet. What I looked at the rankings, his eyes were still full of fire even if he stayed up all night. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it. A new student in the camp reached second place in the rankings in just one day. This was a miracle that overturned the training camp and shocked everyone. Who can tell me, who is this Zhang Muchen? Why is he more evil than Zhang Yuanzhou? He rushed to second place in one night. The Zhang family, really are not transformed from ferocious beasts, right? Fang Yao, who once ranked third and now ranks fourth, asked a shocked question. He was also confused. At first Zhang Muchen squeezed into the top 10, but he didn't pay attention at all. As a result, just after eating, the bracelet vibrated again. Fang Yao looked down. I discovered that Zhang Muchen was ninth. He was still thinking about it at the time. Hey, this guy is pretty good and has good potential. Single quote. Then the nightmare began. The bracelet vibrates every hour. Seeing that Zhang Muchen's ranking is getting higher and higher, approaching his own ranking. Fang Yao couldn't calm down anymore and hurriedly came to the hall. He discovered it as soon as he arrived. Except for Zhang Yuanzhou, Zhang Muchen, and Lu Zancheng who were in the forest. The remaining top 10 students in the rankings are all here. Then everyone witnessed it together. Fang Yao's ranking changed from third to fourth. And Zhang Muchen didn't stay in third place for too long. Reached the second place at an extremely fast speed. Squeezed the land battle city down again. There is only a 300-point gap between him and Zhang Yuanzhou, who is in first place. My dear, if he continues to kill like this, I'm afraid he will surpass Zhang Yuanzhou in the rankings. No wonder Lu Yu is no match for him, Zhang Muchen is too strong. Are all the Zhang family so evil? But I heard that Zhang Muchen has severed ties with the Zhang family. Where did he obtain martial arts resources? If Zhang Muchen wins first place, there will be great things to watch. Zhang Yuanzhou will definitely not give up. The students discussed it animatedly, with a tone of shock and envy. It's been almost a year since I entered training camp. First time seeing this happen. It's really scary to compare people to death. I know, he is Zhang Muchen who molested Yi Shaner. Suddenly someone shouted. Countless eyes fell on this man. This is a boy with a slightly flat nose. He didn't expect that he would get so many people's attention with just one sentence, and his vanity would instantly swell. It's a joke, Zhang Muchen can kill the second one, and his strength is at least a 14th level warrior, and he still needs to molest Yi Shaner. I'm afraid Zhang Muchen's words will make Yi Shaner come to his door willingly. Fang Yao looked over coldly and refuted. He said this. Not for Zhang Muchen, but for his own reputation. After all, Zhang Muchen surpassed his ranking. Others will inevitably compare the two of them to each other. As for what kind of person Yi Shaner is, other students may not know much about it, but the top 10 students know it very well. Isn't it just holding the thigh of Land War City and sharing the points to occupy the 10th place at the bottom? If there is no Land Battle City, Yi Shaner is nothing but a green tea. You may not know Zhang Muchen's strength, but I don't think he would molest a Yi Shaner. What who is now ranked 10th, laughed and shook his head. Nobody knows. How uncomfortable he felt. I really want to tell the whole world. Zhang Muchen has mastered the secret. How could such a genius molest Yi Shaner? What a joke. But he was afraid of provoking Zhang Muchen, so he could only endure it with tears. It is really surprising that two students ranked in the top 10 spoke for Zhang Muchen one after another. However, many students also felt that it made sense after listening to it. Humph, where did you hear this? Do you have any evidence? Tell me. Lu Yu, half of his body wrapped in bandages, pulled up the collar of the boy with a flat nose with one hand, looking fierce. Although he is not a good and honest person, he has self-respect. If Zhang Muchen's rumors come true, then his title would have to become, the 6th place defeated by Zhang Muchen who molested Yi Shaner. Long enough. It's ugly enough. Looking at the fierce Lu Yu in front of him. The boy with a flat nose said tremblingly with his mouth trembling. Everyone says that. A trace of disgust flashed in Lu Yu's eyes, he cursed an idiot secretly, and turned around to leave. Old Chen, are you awake? How dare you tell rumors about Zhang Muchen? Oh, and there are also Yi Shaner and Lu Zancheng. Anyone you meet with these three people will be dead. I met a boy with a flat nose on the side and let out a gloating exclamation. Old Chen is so brave. One sentence offended the three powerful men in the training camp. I really don't know if he has eaten the heart of a bear or the courage of a leopard, or if he has developed some invincible magical skill. Instructor, I want to leave the camp. Lao Chen suddenly let out a scream and was so frightened that he peed his pants. He now wants to find an instructor to leave the camp, and he doesn't even dare to ask for ranking rewards. Wait until the camp closes tomorrow. Then it's too late. It's just getting light. Zhang Muchen, who was resting with his back against a tree trunk, opened his eyes. Take him as a circle. There were many corpses of ferocious beasts scattered around. These are the ferocious beasts that attacked Zhang Muchen last night. They think they are hunters. As a result, they all fell to the cold spring gun. I've killed all the first-level ferocious beasts in half the forest. The rest are smart and vigilant ferocious beasts. It's really hard to find them. Zhang Muchen took a few qi and blood pills as breakfast and ate them in one bite. As the qi and blood pills are digested, hunger is quickly relieved. Host, Zhang Muchen. Realm, level 15. Talent, Eternal Azure Dragon S. Qi and blood, 520. Spirit, 520. Martial Arts, Water Dragon Song, Introductory, Cloud Cavalry Spear Technique, Perfection, Ninefold Fist, Perfection. Exercise, Whale Sea Breathing Method, First Level of Perfection. Evolution Points, 5. After a night of killing, Zhang Muchen killed at least 50 first-order ferocious beasts. His level has also reached level 15. It can be said. Half a foot has entered the Holy Jingwu University. Just waiting for the college entrance examination to start. But as the strength increases, a small goal originally set. It looks really small now. My goal now is to be the top scorer in the college entrance examination, and to get the top score, I have to win the Ape King and become the top scorer in the training camp. Zhang Muchen clenched his fists, looked resolutely, and raised his target slightly. Although talent evolution is rare, it is not without precedent. In order to deal with the violent Ape King, he also left 5 evolution points. At least 5 profound water dragon chants were his respect for the tyrannical Ape King. Adequate preparations have been made. So Zhang Muchen didn't have any fear. He picked up the cold spring gun, arcs of electricity flashing under his feet, and headed straight to the center of the forest. Under the stimulation of the Azure Dragon Divine Thunder, cells and muscles can burst out with stronger power. If I want to maximize the effect of the Azure Dragon Divine Thunder, I need better martial arts. Zhang Muchen had some enlightenment and had a deeper understanding of the Azure Dragon Divine Thunder. At extremely fast running speeds. Half an hour later, Zhang Muchen heard the sound of water getting louder, which was the roar of the waterfall. He quickened his pace and passed through the last forest, revealing a magnificent scene. Beneath the majestic waterfall, a huge gray ape was lying comfortably on the water. Its body is like a small mountain, and its hair is smoother than silk. No wonder he survived so long in training camp. Zhang Muchen narrowed his eyes and looked at the giant ape carefully. He was not frightened by the giant ape, but instead aroused a strong fighting spirit. Take a deep breath and let the qi and blood in your body circulate to the extreme. At the same time, I thought silently in my heart. Transform into a dragon. It was as if some kind of switch had been turned on. A pair of water column dragon horns condensed into shape, the pupils emitted cyan light, and powerful power instantly filled the whole body. Minutes ago, in the main control room, Wu Hanhai, who was lying on the chair, suddenly stood up. He pointed at the screen in the middle and let out a jeering laugh. Here we come, the little monster is coming to challenge the Ape King. Yuji also cheered up, clenched his fists, and vowed. If Zhang Muchen is not a favored one, I will eat the monitor. He is so hidden. She dared to swear such a poisonous oath precisely because Zhang Muchen's performance was so amazing. He reached second place in the rankings in one night. Achieved a feat that has never been achieved since the opening of Haicheng training camp. Put it in all previous college entrance examinations. This kind of strength is at worst an A-level talent, or a higher S-level talent. But Zhang Muchen made progress too fast. No reason can be perfectly explained. Only those blessed by heaven are the most reasonable answers. Boom. The door of the main control room suddenly opened, and a bald man and Aoluo walked in. The bald man was wearing a straight tunic suit, and his eyes were calm and intimidating, giving him a sense of stability and reliability. City Lord. Boss. See someone coming. Yuji and Wu Hanhai stood up immediately and quickly saluted the bald man. Although they are both instructors, their relationship with the bald man is different. Ling Saiyang pointed at Wu Hanhai with an easy-going attitude and joked with a smile. Lao Wu, you're not bragging. The nickname of being the most discerning person in the training camp is well deserved. You kept it secret and protected Zhang Muchen, the one favored by heaven. Protect. It turns out that Wu Hanhai deliberately made a lot of wrong reasoning in order to protect Zhang Muchen. In fact, he was helping Zhang Muchen make smoke bombs to prevent the cultists from discovering the clues. Yuji was extremely surprised and couldn't help but look at Wu Hanhai with admiration. This bearded uncle, it turns out that his nickname is not just a boast, he really has something to it. Ah. Well, that's right. As an instructor, of course I have to protect the destined ones. So I openly covered up for Zhang Muchen and secretly gave him the status of a seed student. Until now I can no longer suppress him. Wu Hanhai was stunned for a moment. However, on second thought, I had a look of regret on my face that I hid it so deeply, but you still discovered it. After all, Ling Saiyang was not only his boss, but also the Lord of Haicheng. Now refute Ling Saiyang's words. Isn't that a slap in the face to the city lord? What a lack of emotional intelligence. I can only wrong myself first. Tisk. Aoluo turned his head away, not wanting to see Wu Hanhai's proud expression. He was all too familiar with the guy who didn't like to shave. The wise do not know. Wu Hanhai chose Zhang Muchen anyway. There is definitely an element of gambling. This time I can only say that Wu Hanhai was lucky and he made the right bet. You've done a good job. The evil spirit you supplied this year has been raised to a higher level. Ling Saiyang nodded with satisfaction and said. These fourth-level warriors are not weak in strength, and they are also good players in the cave. Why are you willing to manage low-level warriors in the training camp? In addition to the mandatory tasks, another reason is the evil spirit. The evil spirit has endless magical uses. When an intermediate warrior takes it, it can temper the internal organs and cause a qualitative change in the qi and blood in the body. Thank you, boss. Wu Hanhai was overjoyed and quickly thanked him. I had been slapped in the face so many times by Zhang Muchen, but he still put things past the past and was given the treatment of a seed student with 1,000 points. This increases the evil spirit by 1 level. Think of it as compensation for being slapped in the face countless times. Aoluo, who had been looking at the monitor, his eyes condensed and he said. City Lord, Zhang Muchen is about to take action. Several people heard this. All eyes are on the monitor screen. But what Zhang Muchen did next shocked everyone present. He has learned the water dragon chant. Aoluo's eyes were horrified and he murmured in disbelief. Mysterious meaning, water dragon chant. Zhang Muchen jumped fiercely, and the arc flashed. A large amount of water vapor gathered in the cold spring gun, the dragon head roared, and rushed towards the violent ape king. Face the strongest beast in the training camp. He had no intention of holding back. It's the most powerful killing move in one move. Roar. Roar. Dragon roars and beast roars sounded one after another at extremely fast speeds. The Ape King, who was lying comfortably, immediately let out an angry roar when he saw Zhang Muchen making an attack. It didn't escape and faced Zhang Muchen's attack with a fist. The water dragon collided with the giant ape, causing a loud bang and a strong wave of air. Ouch! The cold spring spear penetrated the giant ape's hand bone, causing it to scream in agony. However, the water dragon remained unabated and carried a large amount of water to wash away the Ape King. The violent Ape King did not expect this move, and was directly knocked down by the huge impact. Thunderstorm. Zhang Muchen's eyes flashed with green light, he held the cold spring gun tightly and activated all his power. As soon as he thought of it, the divine thunder came out. Countless green dragon divine thunder followed the cold spring gun and rushed into the body of the violent Ape King. Thunder roared, lightning flashed, and the entire waterfall turned into a thunder prison. Ouch! Faced with the endless blast of divine thunder, the violent Ape King howled, and his shiny fur quickly burned away. Its whole body was soaked in water, and there was a river behind it. It couldn't escape at all, and it had to bear all the damage. Evolution point plus 15. A few seconds later, Zhang Muchen stopped the Azure Dragon Divine Thunder when he heard the prompt. He pulled out the Cold Spring gun and ordered Shenlin to add more points to restore his blood and spirit. With the death of the giant ape, all the bracelets of the top 10 students vibrated at the same time. At this moment, no one is looking at the bracelet anymore. The students standing in the hall stared blankly at the rankings. Everyone saw the pinnacle, the legendary name. First place Zhang Muchen, 1270. Single quote. With Zhang Muchen's name, he topped the rankings. Dead silence fell in the hall. There was an indescribable emotion in everyone's heart. What's going on? Why did it suddenly increase by 300 points? Some students who didn't know what was going on asked questions like newbies. Hee hee, ha 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 ha. Suddenly Fang Yao laughed, and the laughter became louder and louder, resounding throughout the hall. Everyone looked at the former second-place player. I wonder if he was stimulated. Under countless gazes, Fang Yao lifted his bangs coquettishly and said, "Awesome, this Muchen is so powerful. Kill the Ape King single-handedly. The violent Ape King. The strongest beast in Haicheng training camp. Isn't it worth 300 points? Right." The students were shocked beyond words. They once regarded the violent Ape King as an invincible being, an obstacle that was beyond their reach. In the entire training camp, how many talented and elite students failed? Even Zhang Yuanzhou still couldn't kill this ferocious beast. But this monster died today. It completely became training camp history. He really killed the violent Ape King and reached the first place. Can this be called an F-level talent? Can this be an F-level talent? God, if the F-level talent is so strong, I am willing to downgrade my talent. Don't be stupid, Zhang Muchen is not an F-level talent, he definitely concealed his talent. Why do you do this? The better the talent, the better the warriors will be treated. There is no need to hide it. Normally, this is the case, but the problem is that the Zhang family brothers are not in harmony. I heard that Zhang Muchen has severed ties with the Zhang family. A few seconds later, the hall exploded with crazy discussions. Everyone is talking, trying to analyze what happened to Zhang Muchen. But there is no surveillance screen here. Everyone knew very little about Zhang Muchen. Zhang Muchen's only action was in front of the public. It was the same time yesterday when he beat Lu Yu violently in the martial arts hall. That one shot. The first level spearmanship at the perfect level has directly won the favor of instructor Aoluo. Now everyone discovered a problem. They knew nothing about Zhang Muchen. This is a genius shrouded in mystery. I understand. First of all, everyone can be sure of one thing. The two brothers Zhang Muchen and Zhang Yuanzhou have a bad relationship. Zhang Muchen hides his talent level to avoid his sharpness. Don't let the Zhang family know. He has been planning for a long time, definitely to make a big splash today. Kill Zhang Yuanzhou and dismount. Prove that he is better. Suddenly, a flash of lightning flashed in Fang Yao's mind. He figured everything out, his whole body trembled and he shouted loudly. That's right. This is the truth. When everyone heard this, they couldn't help but feel deep respect in their hearts. Amazing. This peer is amazing. A poor man who was kicked out of his home. No resources. No pointers. How strong is his heart that he can withstand endless loneliness and ridicule. A person has come this far and achieved a shocking turnaround. Cannot imagine. But one thing is for sure. That must be a road full of wind, frost and thorns. Buzz buzz. Lu Zancheng, who was on his way, felt the vibration of his bracelet and raised it to take a look. It doesn't matter if you don't see it. When he saw it, he looked horrified and felt as if he had eaten shit. His ranking has dropped. Not only that, Zhang Yuanzhou was also squeezed out. The first place was actually the guy named Zhang Muchen. Crazy. Is this world crazy? Both Zhang brothers stepped on his head. How did he do it? Could it be that he cheated? Yi Xianer, who was beside him, was also shocked when he saw the message. Obviously before going to bed last night, Zhang Muchen was only 10th. After a sleep, did he reach first place? It's not scientific at all. As for why the two of them didn't notice Zhang Muchen's ranking rising while sleeping, it was because they took off their bracelets. Otherwise, exercise may cause the heart rate to rise for a long time, which may attract inspection by the instructor. The society will be dead by then. Lu Zancheng took a deep breath, his expression so gloomy that he could drip water, and said coldly. I know, it must be the violent ape king. Zhang Muchen must have killed the violent ape king. Otherwise, his points would not have reached 1002. Lu Zancheng has always regarded the ape king as its treasure. Even Zhang Yuanzhou is not worthy of getting involved. Because for him, this ferocious beast with abnormal bloodline is the key. As long as you use the method of the beast god cult to devour the flesh and blood of the violent ape king, you can make him stronger. After the strength increased again. Wait until the college entrance examination. He has a great chance of killing the S-level talent of the Heavenly Blessed One. But now, they were all destroyed by Zhang Muchen. Without the tyrannical ape king, he would not have been able to achieve miraculous feats and fall into the arms of the beast god. Ah, Zhang Muchen can actually kill the violent ape king, so what kind of talent does he have? And how much does it cost? Yi Xian'er was dumbfounded and couldn't believe it. There was a voice in her heart that was denying. This is number 1. Definitely not Zhang Muchen from Haicheng number 1 middle school. It's just people who happen to have the same name and surname and the same age. No matter how outrageous her idea is, Yi Xian'er can accept it at this moment, as long as it's not Zhang Muchen. Yes, the price. No matter how strong the student in the training camp is, he is only at level 1. He must have paid a heavy price for killing the violent ape king. This is a good opportunity. Lu Zancheng trembled, as if he had found a breakthrough. His eyes flashed with bloodlust. Not wanting to waste a second, he shouted loudly. Let's go. Get to the waterfall as quickly as possible. Yi Xian'er's face turned pale and she didn't dare to see that Zhang Muchen. But under the fierce gaze of Lu Zancheng, she didn't get a chance to say no. I can only bite the bullet and keep up, while praying silently in my heart. Not that Zhang Muchen. Not that Zhang Muchen. Not that Zhang Muchen. The two soon came to the waterfall and saw an extremely exciting scene. A huge giant ape fell on the water. It was motionless, obviously dead for a long time. If we talk about the violent ape king, in the eyes of many students in the Haicheng training camp, it is like an insurmountable mountain. Then the handsome young man standing on its back has trampled a mountain under his feet. Zhang Muchen, he is Zhang Muchen, how could it be him, how could it be him? Why is it him? When Yi Xian'er saw that familiar face, she let out a trembling and sharp cry. She couldn't accept the reality before her. How could Zhang Muchen defeat the ape king with an F-level talent? How is it possible to become the number 1 in Haicheng training camp? Countless questions filled Yi Xian'er's heart. A feeling of regret emerged uncontrollably. Could it be that the genius who dominated Haicheng number 1 middle school is coming back again? Is he Zhang Muchen? Why did he kill the ape king without any injuries on his body? Lu Zancheng clenched his fists and his mind was filled with questions. He didn't believe it. A first-level student can kill the violent ape king without taking any damage. Unless Zhang Muchen is a person favored by heaven, and he also masters the secrets. Think of this possibility. Lu Zancheng's heart was pounding and his brain was extremely excited. Yes, my reasoning is absolutely correct. Zhang Muchen is definitely the one favored by heaven. Once a blessed person enters a martial arts university, they will grow very quickly and their strength will improve by leaps and bounds. But it was different before the college entrance examination. At this time, no matter how strong the Heavenly Blessed One is, he can't get any stronger. Opportunity. This is a great opportunity to kill the Heavenly One. He can't kill the violent ape king without consuming any energy and blood. He must be very weak now. Infinite greed arose in Lu Zancheng's heart. I feel like I have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity right in front of me. Just kill Zhang Muchen. He can fall into the arms of the beast god. Yi Xian'er, do it. Lu Zancheng patted Yi Xian'er on the back and inspired his talent, Blood Bat. Instantly, a network of veins appeared on Yi Xian'er's back, which looked very evil. At the same time, her eyes were filled with blood, and like a wild beast, she abandoned all reason and rushed towards Zhang Muchen. Green tea, I have noticed you a long time ago. Since you are seeking your own death, don't blame me. Faced with Yi Xian'er's attack, Zhang Muchen was not surprised at all. His eyes were firm, and he waved the cold spring gun. In an instant, the gun turned into a violent storm, covering Yi Xian'er. He could tell that something was wrong with this woman, but he didn't give up half-heartedly. Just because it's wrong. So we must go all out. No one can threaten my life, Zhang Muchen. Bang bang bang. With the use of Yunqi's spear technique, more than a dozen blood holes exploded on the surface of Yishanar's body in midair. She fell to the ground like a tattered rag. At the same time, Land War City also found an opportunity and took action boldly. He looked like a streak of blood, rushed in front of Zhang Muchen, swung his whip leg, split the air, and hit Zhang Muchen's temple. In the main control room, the expressions of several instructors changed. No, there's something wrong with these two. Wu Hanhai cursed angrily and immediately rushed out of the main control room. His body shape changed rapidly, a large amount of yellow hair sprouted from his skin, and he transformed into a humanoid tiger in the blink of an eye. Wang Shibu. Every time you take a step, the ground pushes back. Let him burst out with more powerful power and rush towards the forest at extremely fast speed. Seeing that Wu Hanhai had already set off, Yuji looked at the screen nervously and asked, City Lord, are we going to rescue Zhang Muchen? Ling Saiyang shook his head, showed a smile, and said confidently, no need. Before I came, Feng Ying had already asked Feng Ying to pick up Zhang Muchen in advance. She is now near Zhang Muchen. Once Zhang Muchen is in danger, Feng Ying will come to rescue her. Everyone couldn't help but feel relieved when they heard that the city lord was strategizing and had already made arrangements. They had also heard of the name Cage. This is a 5th-level warrior who serves as the city lord's guard and is even more powerful than them. Closing the camp, blocking the results of this training camp, and not allowing students to leave. We have to buy more time for Zhang Muchen. Ling Saiyang was so familiar with the cult that he immediately thought of a countermeasure. He doesn't need to block information for too long. It's enough to postpone it until the college entrance examination starts tomorrow. With Zhang Muchen's S-level talent, he also has the strength to kill the Ape King alone. It was almost certain that he would be admitted to the Sejing Martial Arts University. As long as Zhang Muchen enters the Shengjing Martial Arts University. In the future, the hidden dragon will go out to sea and the dragon will rise to the sky. A mere cult. They are just pebbles on the road to becoming stronger. Facing the fierce whip kick, Zhang Muchen raised his hands to block. His arms were as if they were made of fine steel, and his whip legs could not move at all. How can this be? Lu Zancheng's face turned livid and he gritted his teeth and said. He took action only after targeting the right moment. But the other party was not exhausted at all. Is my guess wrong? The fight is about to start. Zhang Muchen has already used mysteries once. I'm afraid he will lose a lot of energy and blood, and he won't be a match for Land War City. The two of them didn't notice that there was a 5th-level warrior standing within 10 meters of them. This 5th-level warrior used unique methods to make his traces invisible. If the Cage is willing, this battle can be over in an instant. But then there was a high-pitched dragon roar. Feng Ying's eyes showed surprise, and he also had the idea to take a look again. Ouch! A large amount of water vapor boiled, gathered into the cold spring gun, formed a water dragon, and stabbed towards the land battle city. Such a close distance. He is hard to avoid. Impossible, why does he have the energy to use mysteries? Lu Zancheng was stunned and shocked, and wanted to distance himself. But his retreat idea had been predicted by Zhang Muchen. In an instant, Zhang Muchen's pupils reflected golden light, like an ancient dragon awakening and dominating all things. Ah! Lu Zancheng's body trembled violently, and he looked ahead with a horrified expression, his body and soul frozen. I am a believer in the cult of Beast God. I still have a trump card. I will never lose. Numerous thoughts came to Lu Zancheng's mind, trying to break through Golden Eye's mental control. But a sharp pain erupted in his body, making all his thoughts disappear. Lu Zancheng lowered his head with difficulty. I saw a dark spear piercing his chest. What heart, what lungs. Under this shot, everything turned into powder. Such fatal injuries. Lu Zancheng couldn't say anything. He opened his eyes and died immediately. Evolution points plus 20 feet. A beep is heard. Zhang Muchen felt confused for the first time. Why is there an evolutionary point? Deep Blue System, you are not a murderer. Bang bang bang. There was a burst of applause nearby. Zhang Muchen put away his thoughts and stopped studying the evolution point. He followed the sound. 10 meters away stood a strange warrior wrapped in black cloth, with only one eyeball exposed. I didn't expect that you, who is at the first level and have such strong energy and blood, could use mysteries twice, so that the beast god cult believer didn't react at all and was caught by surprise. The other party's voice was very hoarse, just as mysterious as his appearance, and it was impossible to distinguish between male and female. Zhang Muchen withdrew the cold spring gun and raised his eyebrows. He felt a lot puzzled by what the man in black said. Who is the senior? However, Zhang Muchen was very thoughtful and noticed many details. The man in black could appear silently, and even he didn't notice any clues, which shows that this man's strength is extraordinary. Since the other party didn't take action, it seemed that he had no ill intentions. The man in black was about to explain. Zhang Muchen. A pounding roar quickly spread here from a distance. Huge sound waves, even the impact of river ripples reversed. A roll of misty yellow sand. A tiger man appeared in front of Zhang Muchen. His muscles swelled, his face was ferocious, his murderous aura overflowed, and he exuded an aura that was countless times stronger than that of the violent ape king. The tiger man glared with eyes bigger than a copper bell and glanced around fiercely. When he saw Lu Zancheng's body and the man in black not far away, he said in surprise. Miss Fengying, why are you here? It seems you took action and saved Zhang Muchen. I heard a somewhat familiar accent. Zhang Muchen probably knew who was coming and asked tentatively. Martial instructor. The tiger man laughed loudly and released his beast transformation, revealing Wu Hanhai's original appearance. You're not hurt, are you feeling uncomfortable somewhere? He patted Zhang Muchen with his big hands like cattail leaf fans, expressing his deep concern. I didn't take any action. It was your student who killed the cultist himself. Feng Ying continued to answer Wu Hanhai in a hoarse voice. Can this kid kill the cultists? Yes, he is indeed a genius. Wu Hanhai was ecstatic and gave a thumbs up without hesitation. Although I was slapped in the face again, it doesn't matter. This old face is swollen enough, get used to it. Instructor, are they cultists? Zhang Muchen pointed to the corpse on the ground and expressed his doubts. He didn't expect it at all. Yi Xianer and Lu Zancheng turned out to be cultists. If that's true, not to mention the psychological burden after killing someone, he felt refreshed. Well, Lujian City is a believer in the beast god sect, but the level is not high. Wu Hanhai squatted down. With a serious look on his face, he pointed at Land War City's forehead. Unknowingly, this area seemed to have accumulated pus, and a big lump bulged out. A common method used by the beast god cult is to baptize believers with divine blood to forcibly increase the strength of warriors. However, the cost is high, and the lifespan of baptized believers is often greatly reduced. Wu Hanhai stretched out his finger, and the big bag on his forehead suddenly burst. A small 8-clawed insect flowed out along with a stream of black blood. They look like little bugs about the size of your thumb. The case has very complex patterns. These curved lines are like two big hands holding up a platform. It seems that the point of evolution is probably related to this little bug. Zhang Muchen had an enlightenment and solved a question. He also discovered a new way to gain evolution points. Hunt down the cultists. A mere land battle city is worth 20 evolution points. Tisk tisk. If you destroy a cult, you will definitely get a lot of evolution points. The cult's style is cruel and evil, and it uses the so-called divine blood to confuse the world. You should be more careful in the future. Once you find someone with abnormal behavior, don't hesitate. Of course, everyone has the responsibility to fight against cults. You killed these two cultists, not only did you do nothing wrong, but you also performed meritorious deeds. Wu Hanhai seemed to have remembered something, his eyes were full of hatred, and he explained. Yes, instructor. Zhang Muchen nodded with an unusually serious expression and did not take it seriously. In his previous life, he traveled extensively and often participated in boxing matches abroad. In a world without supernatural powers, cults would be very scary. Once a believer is brainwashed by a cult, his or her personality may change drastically, or he may become a fanatical worshipper, risking his life for the sake of the so-called God. And in this extraordinary world, but a spiritually gifted warrior, the problems and disasters caused by cults will only become more serious. The city lord has announced that the camp is closed. Come with me. I think the city lord also wants to see you. Wu Hanhai stood up and clapped his hands. As for that Miss K's cage, he can't command. Yes, instructor. Zhang Muchen originally wanted to kill monsters until the camp was closed. But something like this happened. It's better to stop spawning monsters first. Let's go. At some point, Feng Ying stood next to the two of them, his voice still hoarse. Protected by two masters, Zhang Muchen left the forest safe and sound and came to the main control room. When the bald city lord Ling Saiyang saw Zhang Muchen, he said with encouragement and affirmation in his voice. He is worthy of being the one blessed by heaven in our sea city. He is truly a talented person. Finished. Ling Saiyang extended his hand in a friendly manner without any airs of a city lord. The city lord has given you too much praise. Zhang Muchen shook these generous hands and said modestly. The foundation is very solid, and the qi and blood are extremely strong. He is indeed a blessed person with extraordinary talents. Just a handshake. Ling Saiyang's eyes narrowed and he noticed a lot of information. First, the suspicion of cultists can be ruled out. Zhang Muchen is a truly blessed person. Sorry Zhang Muchen, I want to ask you a secret. Has your talent evolved? Ling Saiyang's face was extremely serious, and the light in his eyes seemed to be able to penetrate people's hearts. Several other instructors secretly clenched their hands, also looking forward to a definite answer. Faced with several expectant and nervous looks, the corners of Zhang Muchen's mouth slightly raised, revealing a confident smile. Yes, my talent has evolved into an S-level Eternal Blue Dragon. Eternal Blue Dragon. This name was like a thunder that suddenly exploded in everyone's heart. Their eyes were full of shock and disbelief. At the same time, a shocking picture comes to mind. A giant cyan dragon soared over Haicheng, causing resonance between heaven and earth and shaking the entire Haicheng. And now, all the logic is right. Zhang Muchen is the one who resonates with heaven and earth. Talent evolution is a rare thing. You are lucky. We in Haicheng are also lucky to have such an opportunity. We will have a blessed person this year. Ling Saiyang's eyes flashed with emotion, revealing deep relief. He has been the lord of Haicheng for many years. Finally, a favored person appeared during his tenure. This can leave a strong mark on his political achievements. In the future, when people talk about Zhang Muchen and Haicheng, they may also mention him, Ling Saiyang. Even if you are a favored one, why does your strength increase so quickly? Wu Hanhai couldn't help but ask. Tell me a question that has been hidden in your heart for many days. The entire Haicheng training camp. He was the first instructor to come into contact with Zhang Muchen. I completely witnessed Zhang Muchen's crazy progress, and he passed the training camp in just 3 days. Too exaggerated. So amazing. I don't know either. Anyway, the more I fight, the better I feel. It's easy to increase my energy and blood, and it's not difficult to learn martial arts. Zhang Muchen spread his hands and raised his shoulders slightly. An attitude of, I don't understand either. He also told the truth. But one of the most critical deep blue systems is hidden. If you don't make rapid progress, and you're not a monster, do you deserve to be called a heavenly blessed one? Do you think you have the same B-level talent as you? You don't understand the heavenly blessed ones, that's normal. Ao Luo curled his lips. Find opportunities. He slapped Wu Hanhai hard in the face. Ha ha ha, that's right. The one who is favored by heaven is breaking the common sense. If it is ordinary, why would it be called one who is favored by heaven? Wu Hanhai laughed loudly, not paying attention to Ao Luo's sarcasm. His old face almost turned into a chrysanthemum smile. He also realized his own problem. It's really a bit redundant. The favored ones are favored by God and are also recognized as monsters. Both his training speed and combat power are extraordinary. Zhang Muchen, first of all, congratulations to you for getting first place in the training camp. As usual, you can get a set of second-level equipment and a second-level martial skill. Ling Saiyang said slowly with encouragement and affirmation. At the same time, he nodded slightly, as if to say, you did a good job. Although I lack evolution points now, I can get them first and then upgrade them during the college entrance examination. Zhang Muchen was deeply shocked and very satisfied with the results. Because the rewards are huge. You must know that the college entrance examination actually has certain restrictions on equipment and martial arts. Candidates cannot use equipment above level 2, otherwise they will be sentenced to cheating. If there is no such provision, the children of wealthy families can sweep through the examination room with a mid-level weapon, and then the college entrance examination will be meaningless. As for martial arts, there are no restrictions. Because 1 year is too short. Even those blessed by heaven cannot learn third-level martial arts, so a simplified version of the secret was born. I see you can also control lightning, right? Ling Saiyang asked in a kind voice like an elder. In his eyes, Zhang Muchen is the one favored by heaven. In addition to being a noble person in his own career, he also has a great future as a master, so he naturally has to show a certain attitude and respect. Yes. Zhang Muchen stretched out his hand, and a few strands of cyan arcs danced on his fingertips. When killing the violent ape king, he had already used the Azure Dragon Divine Thunder, so there was no need to hide it. Even if the other party doesn't ask, I will also look for opportunities to ask Ling Saiyang for advice. Ling Saiyang, the lord of a city, is a 6th level warrior. It is beneficial and harmless to have such seniors to guide you. You have mastered the Water Dragon song, and you have no shortage of killer moves. Then I recommend you to choose Thunder Light Step to enhance your mobility. With this martial skill, you can sweep the college entrance examination. Ling Saiyang pondered for a while and made a suggestion. He had no doubts at all. Can Zhang Muchen learn to walk with lightning speed? What a joke. This blessed person learned the Water Dragon chant in 1 day. A mere 2nd level martial skill. He believed that Zhang Muchen could not be defeated. Thank you, City Lord, I happen to want a footwork too. Seeing that Ling Saiyang's thoughts coincided with his own, Zhang Muchen's brows were filled with joy, and the corners of his mouth rose unconsciously. A few minutes later, things were sent to the main control room. Wu Hanhai handed over an extra long box and said, "This is the 2nd level weapon, the Heavy Rain Pear Blossom Spear. Take a look." Zhang Muchen took the box and thanked him. He has always believed in Wu Hanhai's vision. After all, the cold spring gun is very easy to use and there is no problem at all. Open the box. What caught his eyes was a silver spear. The barrel of the gun was wrapped with spiral patterns, extending to the tip of the gun that cracked into 5 blades. The main material of this weapon is Xuanshui stone, and it is also mixed with white thunder stone. It is very suitable for you, a warrior of both water and thunder elements. Wu Hanhai pointed at the Rainstorm Pear Blossom gun and explained with confidence in his eyes. It is different from the Cold Spring gun. The Rainstorm Pear Blossom gun does not adopt a segmented design. Representing its strength and toughness, it comprehensively surpasses the 1st level Cold Spring gun. Okay, I'll try. When Zhang Muchen lifted this 2-9 sharp weapon, he felt just right in his grip. He tried swinging it and found that both the weight and the feel were good. Then activate the power of the innate Qinglong Divine Water. A stream of clear water spreads down the pear blossom gun, and a jagged water jet emerges from the tip of the gun. Probably because the material is more advanced. Zhang Muchen discovered that activating the talent consumes energy and blood. At least 30% lower than using the cold spring gun. Don't underestimate this 30% loss. It is very important to put it in the battle. Thank you, Instructor Wu. I like this Heavy Rain Pear Blossom gun very much. Zhang Muchen felt satisfied and released his natural ability. The college entrance examination is tomorrow. A stronger weapon was exactly what he needed urgently. Now that you have the Heavy Rain Pear Blossom gun, it will undoubtedly be even more powerful and greatly improve the efficiency of monster spawning. When you are admitted to Wuhan University, you can go to the Weapons Academy to customize a weapon. Only such tailor-made weapons can bring out the strongest combat power of a warrior. Wu Hanhai smiled slightly and gave Zhang Muchen some pointers. His words. It has been memorized by Zhang Muchen. Custom-made weapons don't come cheap. Because every gram of weight, every centimeter, and every material has been carefully considered. The weapon created in this way is naturally very compatible with the warrior, and can truly move like an arm and a finger. You have already received the reward for being number 1 in the training camp, but as a blessed person, you are qualified to make one request from me. Ling Saiyang blinked, as if hinting at something. Several instructors looked at each other. Knowing that the city lord was determined to bet on Zhang Muchen, he directly and blatantly offered benefits. I hope to go into the forest and continue to train myself. Zhang Muchen didn't think much and said with firm eyes. No reward is as good as evolution points. So he chose to farm monsters. What? Are you going into the forest again? Ling Saiyang's expression was shocked for the first time. He imagined that Zhang Muchen would ask for elixirs or some preferential treatment. I didn't expect such a request. But he could feel a decisive will from this 18-year-old boy, and it didn't look like he was cheating at all. I agree. When the closing ceremony is over, I will let the instructors from the training camp cooperate with you to capture the ferocious beasts for you. You can kill as many as you want. Ling Saiyang waved his hand and said proudly. Today he will go crazy with the destined one. Look where Zhang Muchen's limit is. Thank you, City Lord. Zhang Muchen was sincerely happy. As expected of the City Lord. Just be generous in what you do. It seems that before the college entrance examination, he can also get a lot of evolution points. A certain villa in Haicheng training camp. In the martial arts training room. Zhang Yuanzhou holds a long sword in his hand and is practicing the secret of the whirlwind sword dance. The wind blade brought by the sword tip seemed to be able to cut the air, making a sharp whistle. Suddenly, there was a sharp pain in my arm, and the sword hilt seemed to weigh 1,000 pounds. He had a ferocious expression and veins popped out on his forehead. He endured the pain and continued to practice. But the sword power became more and more messy. Bang! The long sword came out of his hand and fell to the ground. Zhang Yuanzhou's face was as pale as paper, and his training clothes had already been wet with sweat. It's obvious. He has reached his limit. It is indeed the secret of martial arts. Even though I, Zhang Yuanzhou, have been studying it for so long with my A-level talent, it is still difficult for me to get started. Looking at the long sword lying on the ground, Zhang Yuanzhou frowned, feeling very helpless and bitter. After starting to learn the secrets, he finally understood. Why can candidates who master the mysteries be the best in the college entrance examination on their own? Although the secret is a simplified version of mid-level martial arts, it does not require a lot from the warrior. Explosion of energy and blood, body control, and talent proficiency. All three requirements are indispensable. As long as there is something wrong in the coordination, the secret will not be revealed. But once coordinated well, the power is quite amazing. Candidates with such a powerful weapon are much better than their peers in actual combat. It's a pity that my good-for-nothing brother is not qualified to take the college entrance examination. Otherwise, I must let him know how big the gap is between people. Zhang Yuanzhou picked up the long sword, and the white blade reflected a pair of cold eyes. Since 5 years ago, after Zhang Muchen was taken home, he felt that life was bleak. Because Zhang Muchen is handsome and outstanding, he has perfect scores in all martial arts classes. That period of time was his nightmare, and it was a lingering shadow. But what about the result? The brother who attracted everyone's attention is an F-class trash. His younger brother has awakened his A-level talent. How dramatic life is. How interesting. How unexpected. Although you have left the Zhang family, don't think that I will let you go easily. I will definitely drive you into the abyss of eternal damnation. Zhang Yuanzhou closed his narrow eyes and sneered. Jingle bell. A rapid ringing of the bell rang through the martial arts room, and at the same time a steady male voice came out. It's time to close the camp. Please gather students in the lobby to receive ranking rewards. In order to practice the secret, Zhang Yuanzhou deliberately set the radio to do not disturb mode, and did not even wear a bracelet. If it weren't for this ringtone reminder, he had forgotten that today was the day the camp was closed. He put his sword into its sheath and murmured. Although I haven't learned the secret, the first place in the training camp will reward second-level equipment and martial arts. With these two items, I will also have the opportunity to compete for a higher ranking in the college entrance examination. In Zhang Yuanzhou's eyes, the reward for first place in the Haicheng training camp was already within his grasp. Even the second-placed Land War City cannot threaten his status. He has an older sister who won the first place in the previous competition. He has a tailor-made strategy and has accumulated a huge advantage. The key is Lusian City, with Yi Shaner who is holding him back. It was also with this layer of protection that Zhang Yuanzhou chose to retreat and work hard to learn the secrets before the college entrance examination. Pity. He failed. However, the height reached is enough for people to look up to. Then go and receive the award. Zhang Yuanzhou gathered his emotions, turned around, left the villa, and went straight to the training camp hall. Along the way, when many students saw Zhang Yuanzhou, their eyes suddenly became very complicated. Zhang Yuanzhou, who has been number one for a year, has long been accustomed to others' attention. He came to the hall with a proud look on his face, crossed the long queue, and came to the first place. But there was no sign of Land War City. Replaced by Fang Yao. Fang Yao, where is Land War City? Zhang Yuanzhou felt a little strange and asked. Training camp has been closed. Why didn't I see Lu Zancheng? Is it because I didn't get first place and I'm embarrassed to show up? Land War City. I don't know. I don't have a good relationship with him. Fang Yao shrugged, expressing his ignorance. Just after saying that. Do not know why. He couldn't help laughing, and even laughed out loud. What are you laughing at? Zhang Yuanzhou felt confused and asked coldly. Nothing, I suddenly thought of something funny. Fang Yao quickly turned his back, covering his mouth and snickering. He wouldn't have laughed unless he couldn't help it. But as soon as I think about it, Zhang Yuanzhou discovered that he was not number one. The first one was his brother who was kicked out of the house. The expressions are definitely interesting. Too funny. A smug fool. Zhang Yuanzhou glanced at Fang Yao with disgust. This guy. He doesn't look like a warrior at all. I've been doing nothing all day long, and I don't know what I'm thinking about. Attention everyone, stand at attention. Several instructors walked forward in unison, with majestic auras. Wu Hanhai's voice echoed through the hall. His tiger eyes scanned every student sternly. The students were shocked and quickly adjusted their posture, straightened their chests and abdomen, and looked straight ahead without squinting. The ranking rewards will now begin. Starting from the last place in the ranking, you can receive your own ranking rewards. Wu Hanhai stood in front of the podium and began to announce the rules. The staff is already prepared. They brought a lot of prizes to the podium. There are mountains of chi and blood pills, various weapons shining with cold light, and the most precious martial arts. After explaining the rules, the atmosphere in the hall became tense. The boy who ranked at the bottom walked up to the podium with his head lowered and received a chi and blood pill. Students stepped onto the stage one after another to receive rewards that matched their sweat and efforts. Look at the thing in your hand. Everyone's mood is very complicated, with both regret and reluctance. 1 year has passed, and the Haicheng training camp has also come to an end and is about to end. 10th place, Tang Anyi. When it's the turn of the top 10 students. As usual, Wu Hanhai would like to rank. Instructor, did you make a mistake? I am in 12th place. Tang Anyi is a girl. She looked in disbelief and pointed at the ranking list. Because Zhang Muchen reached the top 10, it brought about a series of chain reactions. Tang Anyi, who was originally ranked 11th, was directly knocked out of the top 10 by Yi Xianer, and was squeezed down one ranking. That's right, because among the top 10 students, Lu Zancheng and Yi Xianer are cultists and have died. Although the rankings have not been updated, it does not affect your ranking by one place. Wu Hanhai raised his chin slightly and said loudly. The news was like a bolt from the blue. The students in the entire hall were all stunned on the spot, their expressions dull. Everyone's hearts were shattered, causing a huge tsunami. Who would have thought? This famous couple turned out to be cultists. And they also stayed with the cultists for a year. I feel scared just thinking about it. The specific situation will be reported after the Wu Bureau investigates. Okay, let's continue now. Tang Anyi, if you don't come up, I will treat you as abstaining. Before the students could start arguing, Wu Hanhai roared loudly and continued to host the award ceremony. I'm coming. I heard the word abstain. Tang Anyi quickly ran up and received the reward. Looking at the brand new first-level weapons and first-level martial arts. She really felt like she had been hit by a lottery ticket, and even her voice was flattered. Thank you, instructor. Wu Hanhai waved his hand and continued. Okay, next, the 9th one is Wu Tai. Wu Tai pursed his lips and walked up to the stage to accept the award. Wait for him to step off the stage. Many people found out. This iron tower-like man's eyes turned red. 8th place, Song Pu. 7th place, Chen Yuliu. 6th place, Zhao Zheji. 5th place, Lu Yu. 4th place, O Shanshan. Third place, Fang Yao. The deaths of Yi Xianer and Lu Zancheng. Let Wu Tai and Tang Anyi get a bargain. But it has no impact on the top 8 students. Because there is already a stronger fierce man in the first place. Second place, Zhang Yuanzhou. Zhang Yuanzhou's expression changed drastically when he heard his name. The shock in his heart was thousands of times more shocking than when he heard that Lu Zancheng was a cultist. Why has my ranking been lowered? But the top 10 students are still the same old faces. Zhang Yuanzhou's face was gloomy and he couldn't figure out what went wrong. It stands to reason. The land battle city that posed the greatest threat to him was already dead and had been kicked out of the rankings. The first place is a sure win, just like picking something out of a bag. Something went wrong now. Zhang Yuanzhou, do you want to give up the reward? Wu Hanhai touched the beard on his chin and said playfully. He used to have no prejudice against the genius Zhang Yuanzhou, but now it's different. There are 2 talented brothers in the family. It stands to reason that this is a great thing. It's a pity that the Zhang family is so ignorant that they lose the watermelon and choose the sesame seeds. No, I'll take it. Zhang Yuanzhou took a deep breath. He walked up to the podium and received a second-level long sword. He couldn't bear the questions in his heart. Instructor, who is number 1? How did he surpass my ranking? Hear this expected question. Wu Hanhai's answer was simple, but shocking. The first place is named Zhang Muchen. He got the guarantee on the first day he entered the camp. On the second day he entered the forest and reached second place. On the third day, Zhang Muchen killed the violent ape king. Zhang Yuanzhou's face instantly lost all color. He was extremely shocked. Holding the second-level long sword tightly, he couldn't say a word. A name that he hates the most, disgusts the most, doesn't want to hear, and shouldn't hear. Now it appears. And stole his first place. Impossible. 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 It must be the same name, definitely not that person. Zhang Yuanzhou lowered his head and gritted his teeth. The shadow that once covered his heart began to spread again. His pride, his achievements, everything about him. How ridiculous. Totally vulnerable. Boom. Zhang Muchen's legs were wrapped with lightning, like the god of thunder coming to the world, approaching the ferocious beast at extremely high speeds. The ferocious beast has not yet responded. The blue gun shadow instantly penetrated the beast's body. Evolution point plus 10. A beep is heard. Zhang Muchen pulled out the rainstorm pear blossom gun. Give it a little shake. Blood splashed and blood flowers bloomed. He had a strong fighting spirit in his heart and glanced around, preparing to hunt the next ferocious beast. Okay, Zhang Muchen, stop and save some energy for the college entrance examination. Ling Saiyang, who was watching, couldn't help shouting loudly. He already had some doubts about life. The one blessed by heaven was so fierce that it made him doubt his life. If he didn't stop it, I'm afraid this young man will fight until tomorrow and exhaust his physical strength excessively. Host, Zhang Muchen. Realm, level 18. Talent, Eternal Azure Dragon S. Chi and Blood, 810. Spirit, 810. Martial Arts, Water Dragon Song, Beginner, Lightning Step, Beginner, Cloud Cavalry, Spear Technique, Perfection, Ninefold Fist, Perfection. Exercise, Whale Sea Breathing Method, First Level of Perfection. Evolution points, 10. Zhang Muchen opened the panel and looked at it, and said with some unfinished thoughts. City Lord Ling, I can continue. There was an instructor's cooperation this afternoon. It directly saves a lot of time in searching for ferocious beasts. Zhang Muchen only needs to take action to harvest lives. Let him earn more than 300 evolution points. First, he spent 50 evolution points to step into the lightning flash, and then raised his level to level 18. If I work harder tonight, I might be able to reach level 19 and touch the threshold of level 2. The reason why the Blessed Ones are respected by others is because of their super talents. Zhang Muchen's heart. There is no idea of hiding strength. He has the universal answer of being blessed by heaven, which is enough to deal with all problems. For example, why are you practicing so fast? Single quote. I am the one favored by heaven. Why are you so strong? Single quote. I am the one favored by heaven. Are you even a human being? Single quote. I am the one favored by heaven. Makes sense. No flaws at all. You are really fierce, but tomorrow is the college entrance examination, so you should rest and rest. It's too much to do. Wu Hanhai walked up quickly, rubbed Zhang Muchen's shoulders, and persuaded him earnestly. Several of their instructors. Today is both tiring and gratifying. I'm tired because it's troublesome to drive away the ferocious beasts, but I'm happy because Zhang Muchen has made amazing progress. Do you have a grudge against the ferocious beast? You kill so hard. Aoluo came over and said with emotion. He was also convinced. I have been a training camp instructor for several years. This was the first time I saw a student who was addicted to killing ferocious beasts. But this is completely a good thing for warriors. Although Zhang Muchen still wanted to continue killing ferocious beasts, reason told him. Wu Hanhai and Ling Saiyang were right. The college entrance examination is an important turning point in his life and cannot be missed. When drinking water, don't forget the well digger. He solemnly thanked several seniors. I understand, thank you City Lord, thank you instructor. Wu Hanhai breathed a sigh of relief and said quickly. Okay, let's go back to training camp. Several people left the forest and met an unexpected person. Zhang Yuanzhou. This face was very similar to Zhang Muchen's. He was holding a long sword and staring gloomily at the forest gate. The moment he saw Zhang Muchen, his eyes burst out with a bloody light of hatred, and he gritted his teeth and said. Brother, I didn't expect it to be you. Why did it have to be you? Taking away my first place. Looking at the hateful looking, brother. Zhang Muchen felt funny and said. Brother, it was before, and now is now. Just practice more. After the talent awakens. He was looked down upon because of his F-level talent and faced difficulties at every turn. Finally, he took the initiative to sever ties with Zhang Jian and lived alone. All the resources of the Zhang family were given to this younger brother. Now that I am in the first year of junior high school. What qualifications do you have to accuse others? You are seeking death. Zhang Yuanzhou was furious, the hilt of the sword he was holding creaked, and he lowered his head and rushed over. He wanted to see it. What confidence does, brother, have to dare to mock him? Several instructors looked at each other and were about to stop Zhang Yuanzhou. Unexpectedly, Ling Saiyang said calmly. Let them get through it, just don't go too far. The city lords all spoke. Several instructors had no choice but to sit back and watch. However, they are all fourth-level warriors with great strength. Even if the two brothers have a real fight, the instructor can control the situation as soon as he takes action. One move. When Zhang Muchen heard this, he already knew what was going on and took a step forward. This step is very clever. He happened to be stuck on Zhang Yuanzhou's route. It shows Zhang Muchen's excellent judgment of the situation. He's so lucky. Zhang Yuanzhou felt very uncomfortable at this moment and was forced into a dilemma. He gritted his teeth and thrust forward with his right hand. The scabbard whizzed towards Zhang Muchen's chest. Faced with this move of advancing and retreating, Zhang Muchen's face was expressionless. Just throw the rainstorm pear blossom gun forward. The two weapons suddenly collided with a clang. A terrifying force was transmitted along the scabbard, shaking Zhang Yuanzhou with a horrified expression. How is that possible? Why is he so powerful? Zhang Yuanzhou's heart was filled with turmoil. I seem to hear the sound of broken confidence. There was no time for him to think. Zhang Muchen gave up the heavy rain pear blossom spear, took advantage of the victory and punched Zhang Yuanzhou in the face. This punch. He didn't hold back. Full of emotions from these 10 years. Ah! Zhang Yuanzhou flew out and fell to the ground. I couldn't help but open my mouth and vomit. Red blood flowed out. With his mouth full of blood, he looked very embarrassed. The college entrance examination is tomorrow. You two, calm down. Wu Hanhai took a step forward and stood between the two of them, his whole body bursting with momentum. Zhang Yuanzhou covered his face, his eyes filled with hatred. Instructor Wu is too biased. Blatant favoritism. Zhang Muchen didn't stop him when he hit someone. Now that he was beaten, he stood up to stop it. What are you doing? Why has my brother become so strong? There must be something wrong with it. Zhang Yuanzhou really didn't have the courage to attack the instructor. His expression changed. He gave Zhang Muchen a hard look. Finally got up and left unwillingly. It's a good thing I stopped you, otherwise our second place in the training camp would have been destroyed by you. Wu Hanhai turned around, pretending to be scared, winked and joked. He was not protecting Zhang Muchen, but to protect Zhang Yuanzhou and prevent Zhang Yuanzhou from dying. The gap in strength between the two brothers was as huge as a natural chasm. Zhang Yuanzhou lags behind in terms of level and talent. Haven't mastered the secret yet. What are you going to fight Zhang Muchen with? Miss Liang gave me the courage. Maybe. Zhang Muchen laughed and did not deny that he wanted to take action. Although the time has not come today, if there is a chance in the future. Of course he had to educate Zhang Yuanzhou hard. Things about the Zhang family. There must be a liquidation with interest. Zhang Muchen, don't worry, I won't let the Zhang family mess around and affect your college entrance examination. Ling Saiyang made a promise. Regarding the Zhang family's affairs. Even though he is the city lord, he is essentially an outsider and cannot be criticized. However, Zhang Muchen has severed ties with the Zhang family. He will also warn the Zhang family not to cross the line. Letting the two brothers fight also hides a good intention. After this little episode, several people came to a room. Ling Saiyang took out a document and said, Zhang Muchen, in addition to you in this college entrance examination, there are 3 destined ones in Jiangnan province. This is their information. Zhang Muchen picked up the document and looked through it carefully. Chu Xiaoxiao, a 16th level warrior with S level talent. Single quote. Leng Yun is a 16th level warrior with an S level talent. Single quote. Xu Wei, a 17th level warrior with an S level talent. Single quote. Judging from paper data. In this year's college entrance examination, some things are rising and falling. Among the 3 favored ones, there are 2 women. However, Zhang Muchen is unique in strength, ranking T0. But he will not be complacent and look down on other candidates. In the world of boxing, there is no shortage of David and Goliath games. If you aim for the number 1 pick, then pay attention to these 3 people. They will be your biggest competitors. Next, you just have a good rest, we won't disturb you anymore. Ling Saiyang warned again and turned around to leave with great satisfaction. He felt that with Zhang Muchen's strength, as long as you perform normally, you will surely win a spot in the top 3. As for the number 1 pick, there are too many variables involved, but there is a high probability of competing. Oh, when I think about the Haicheng training camp, there may be a college entrance examination martial arts champion this year, I am so excited that I can't sleep tonight. Yuji clapped her little hands and said with a red face. You can't sleep, right? Come out with me to be on guard. Wu Hanhai had a dark look on his face and quickly took Yuji out of the room. After the 2 living treasures leave, Ao Luo took out a booklet, pushed it over, and said. Zhang Muchen, I think this move, Thunder Dragon Fury, is also very suitable for you. Another secret. It's still the secret of thunder that I have been thinking about for a long time. Zhang Muchen couldn't help being happy, picked up the pamphlet and read it. Do you want to spend 100 evolution points to improve the proficiency of Thunder Dragon Fury? Single quote. After reading this, a deep blue voice also sounded in the back of my mind. The entrance to first level martial arts is 10 points, the entrance to second level martial arts is 50 points, and the entrance to third level martial arts is 100 points. It seems that Water Dragon Roar and Thunder Dragon Fury are comparable to third level martial arts. They are so difficult. No wonder few candidates can master them. Zhang Muchen thought about it secretly, and his doubts gradually became clear. The secret is equivalent to a third level martial skill. It's not something you can learn in one fell swoop. As the saying goes, if you don't accumulate small steps, you can't reach 1,000 miles. Martial arts is actually the same as liberal arts. It requires continuous accumulation of knowledge in order to challenge more difficult theories. It's like a child prodigy who can't go beyond elementary school knowledge and directly understand junior high school knowledge. Therefore, it is difficult for first-level warriors in the training camp to understand the secret. Instructor Ao, you said that the secrets are simplified intermediate martial arts, so where do these 2 secrets come from? Zhang Muchen thought of a question and asked curiously. The 2 mysteries of Water Dragon Roar and Thunder Dragon Fury are derived from the 4th-level martial arts Dragon Roar Spear technique. If you are interested, you can borrow them from Junhai Martial Arts University in the future. You have already learned the Water Dragon Roar. If you also learn the Thunder Dragon Fury, you will have an excellent foundation. You will be able to learn the dragon roaring marksmanship very soon. Although I know this marksmanship, Due to school rules, I can't teach it to you privately, otherwise you and I will be in big trouble. Instructor Aoluo answered without any hesitation. He seemed to have thought about it a long time ago. Zhang Muchen would ask this question. As for the rule that martial arts should not be taught privately, Aoluo had nothing to do. This kind of regulation is very common and very strict, and is subject to the dual constraints of Junhai Wuhan University and Wuhan Bureau. The profound meaning simplified by him is not bound by regulations. Zhang Muchen is extremely grateful to instructor Ao for teaching me these two mysteries. As for the dragon roar spear technique, it all depends on fate in the future. Zhang Muchen was not a greedy person, so he thanked him sincerely. Since water dragon roar and thunder dragon fury are both derived from dragon roar spear technique, then maybe there is a possibility. When he learned the dragon roaring spear technique, the system will reduce part of the evolution point cost. Moreover, Zhang Muchen has already introduced Shalongyan. I will also learn Thunder Dragon Fury in the future. Therefore, there is no harm in getting the Dragon Roar Spear skill. Zhang Muchen, perform well tomorrow. Our whole city depends on your performance. Aoluo, who had always been cold-faced, smiled for the first time today and patted Zhang Muchen on the shoulder to encourage him. Ever since I witnessed Zhang Muchen's talent and strength, his heart was filled with excitement that he had not seen for a long time. Due to Ling Saiyang's blockade, the Haicheng training camp didn't open until the day of the college entrance examination. After opening the door, much news spread like wildfire. In one of the restaurants facing the training camp, a celebration banquet was being held. There are many participants. They are all prominent figures in Haicheng, and there are many middle-level warriors among them. But the person sitting in the main seat is a second-level warrior, Zhang Xuanba. Congratulations to the head of the Zhang family. The Zhang family has won the first place in the Haicheng training camp for 2 consecutive years. The name of the first family in Haicheng is worthy of its name. Yes, the Zhang family produced 2 talented people who were admitted to the Holy Martial Arts University together, which is enough to become a good story that will go down in history. Everything depends on the head of the Zhang family to teach him well, otherwise how could we have 2 talented heroes in a row? Guests came one after another with compliments. Zhang Xuanba and Chen Amy couldn't help but smile. Their third daughter, Zhang Zian, has entered Shengjing Wuhan University. The name of the number 1 Wuhan University in the Dragon Kingdom resounds throughout the world. Therefore, the status of the Zhang family has also increased. What's even more enviable is another Zhang Yuanzhou is born in the Zhang family. Although in terms of talent, Zhang Yuanzhou is slightly inferior and only has A-level talent, but he is still a genius. It can be expected. As the realm of these 2 siblings improves, Zhangjiajian is becoming more and more prosperous. Will become the giant family in Haicheng in the future. Da da da. There was a sound of footsteps, and a warrior wearing a long coat came. He has been waiting at the gate of the Haicheng training camp, waiting for the lifting of the lockdown to get first-hand news. As soon as the news is received, the warrior immediately ran to the restaurant, waved the white paper in his hand, and congratulated loudly. Congratulations to the head of the Zhang family. The Zhang family has another Qilin son. Congratulations to the head of the Zhang family for winning the first place in the Haicheng training camp twice in a row. After hearing this, all the guests paused and thought, sure enough, this is true. Take a look at the history of Haicheng. There are not many families. It is possible to win the first place in 2 training camps in a row. This represents the beginning of a family's prosperity, which is really enviable. Ha 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 ha, you are indeed my son. Yuanzhou did not disappoint me. Zhang Xuanba stood up suddenly and burst into hearty laughter. He took the blank paper. The moment he saw the first line of words clearly, his smile froze and his whole face was covered with black lines. Not Zhang Yuanzhou. It turned out to be Zhang Muchen. That loser who was kicked out of the house took the first place. How can this be? Zhang Xuanba couldn't understand it at all, so he tore the white paper in half in a rage. All the people present realized that something was wrong. Soon, a word spread quickly. All the guests present knew one thing. The first place winner in Haicheng training camp this year is named Zhang Muchen. Did I hear you correctly? It's not Zhang Yuanzhou. It's Zhang Muchen. Hey, what's going on in this house? They actually kicked a genius out of the house. What are the Zhang family doing? Isn't it bad to be a genius in one subject and two in one subject? The wealthy businessmen and dignitaries in Haicheng couldn't help lowering their heads and communicating in whispers. They looked at Zhang Xuanba's smile, which was full of weirdness. What is this traitor going to do? He actually takes away the first place in Yuanzhou. Zhang Xuanba's face was gloomy and he was in a very unhappy mood. What a great celebration banquet. It directly became a stage for others to laugh at. Buses formed a long queue, driving along the highway. At the same time, a large number of warriors followed the convoy and stood guard along the road. And a few months before the college entrance examination started, the Wu Bureau released a series of tasks in advance. Many warriors have accepted the mission to go deep into the wilderness area to eliminate the ferocious beasts and ensure the safety of the route. Therefore, the convoy traveled unimpeded and was not hit by a large-scale beast tide. Only a few ferocious beasts appeared foolishly and were killed foolishly. According to the college entrance examination regulations, Zhang Muchen needs to take the bus from Haicheng No. 1 Middle School. For his safety, arrange Wu Hanhai to sit in the first row of the bus, while Ling Saiyang rides in a car at the back. No matter what emergencies occur, under heavy protection, Zhang Muchen's life will not be in danger. With the protection of the city lord and a few instructors, it's safe enough. Zhang Muchen, who was sitting next to Wu Hanhai, felt full of security in his heart. It is natural that the favored ones should be taken seriously. Wait until he grows up. It will definitely repay the Dragon Kingdom 1,000 times. Zhang Muchen, how was the training camp? Su Xiaoshui sat on the right side of Zhang Muchen and asked curiously. She had also been to a training camp and knew how cruel it was. Many high school students with mediocre talents are in a similar situation to Su Xiaoshui. After entering the training camp for a while, I found that I couldn't bear the high-pressure environment, so I quit the camp before the end. It's okay, as expected. Zhang Muchen tilted his head and thought for a while, then said calmly. Before he entered training camp, both goals set were achieved. The first is to raise the realm to level 15 or above. The second is to get through the training camp in 3 days. Tisk, he's only been in the training camp for 3 days. How can he feel when he goes in when the camp is about to close? Huang Feifei on the side crossed her arms and said disdainfully. She looked down on Zhang Muchen in her heart. If an F-level talent dares to enter the training camp, it's totally unbelievable. What else can you say now that it meets expectations? The expectation of being at the bottom. This guy Zhang Muchen's popularity is a bit low. Wu Hanhai stroked his beard and showed a strange smile. If it were Zhang Muchen from before. What this girl said makes sense. Unfortunately, fate likes to play tricks on people. Feifei, don't say that. There is nothing wrong with Zhang Muchen entering the training camp to fight for opportunities for himself. In the past, Grandmaster Fang Ben also had an F-level talent, but he did not give up on martial arts, and finally achieved the status of Grandmaster. If you continue to use such discriminatory terms, we will not be friends. Su Xiaoshui turned her head and said righteously. She truly felt that Zhang Muchen was right. Have courage. Dare to enter the training camp to challenge yourself. This is much better than someone with the same F-level talent. HMPH, my cousin Fang Yao has also entered the training camp. I will know how many times Zhang Muchen has made a fool of himself, just ask him. Huang Feifei's mouth was filled with anger, and she was obviously very unconvinced. Unexpectedly, Su Xiaoshui would break up with her, a good friend, for Zhang Muchen. Then don't blame her for being rude, let everyone see how ugly Zhang Muchen is. Hey, cousin, I'm Feifei. First of all, congratulations to you. With your A-level talent, you will definitely achieve good results in the training camp this year. Huang Feifei deliberately turned on the speakerphone so that everyone could hear clearly. Oh, okay, 3rd place. Fang Yao didn't think much and said calmly. After leaving training camp, he has fielded numerous phone calls asking about the situation. Naturally, I thought Huang Feifei was here to congratulate me. 3rd place in the training camp. Let me choke you. Cousin Feifei is so strong. Based on past college entrance examination results, Fang Yao can definitely get into the Shengjing Martial Arts University. Shengjingwu University. I'm so envious, this is a real genius. Hear compliments from classmates. Huang Feifei raised her neck like a proud swan, as if she was the one who won third place. She glanced at Zhang Muchen provocatively and said impatiently. Then do you know a student named Zhang Muchen? He has made a lot of mistakes. Zhang Muchen held his chin with his right hand, not feeling angry, and looked at Huang Feifei with a smile for confirmation. As a yellow boxer in his previous life, he suffered numerous criticisms and discrimination, but ended up using his strength to slap him in the face one by one, establishing his status as the gold belt boxing champion. In his eyes, an idiot like Huang Feifei is no longer a human being, but a single-celled organism. Lin Chen. Fang Yao's tone on the other end of the phone was very hesitant, as if he was stuck in some kind of memory. But when it fell into Huang Feifei's ears, it immediately became a resource to increase her arrogance, she said in a strange way. Oh, I forgot. Zhang Muchen is an F-level talented warrior. He is not comparable to your cousin's A-level talent. You don't know that he is also normal. I remembered, Feifei, you are also a student of Haicheng number 1 middle school. Could it be that Zhang Muchen is in the same class as you? Even across a screen, everyone can still feel it. Fang Yao's anxious and nervous mood. Yes, cousin, what's wrong? Could it be that Zhang Muchen was embarrassed at the training camp and was completely humiliated at home? Although Huang Feifei didn't know the reason, she was even more proud. She wanted to tear Zhang Muchen's dignity to pieces. Let everyone see his ugliness. Disgraceful. If you think it's embarrassing to get through the training camp in 3 days, kill the strongest ferocious beast, the tyrannical ape king, and take first place in the training camp as the Blessed One, then I'm going to open your head and see what the structure is. Idiot. Fang Yao roared so furiously that even the air shook. He was really angry. It was quite fun to watch Zhang Yuanzhou. Unexpectedly, his cousin taught him a lesson today. The fun people have their own fun. Ah. Cousin, what are you talking about? Why can't I understand? Are there 2 Zhang Muchen in the training camp? Huang Feifei asked with astonishment on her face after hearing the myth. She couldn't believe it. The F-level talent trash I know can talk about this kind of thing. And Zhang Muchen is the one favored by heaven. What a joke. There is only one Zhang Muchen in our training camp. If I guess correctly, a certain instructor should be escorting him. Fang Yao felt like he was going to be pissed off by his cousin, and said quietly. Hear this. Everyone's eyes fell on Wu Hanhai in the first row, and they were very surprised. I originally thought this was a strong warrior. Just choose a bus at random to escort you. Unexpectedly, there is an unexpected reason inside. Wu Hanhai couldn't help but grinned and said. I am here just to protect Zhang Muchen. Finished. He gave Zhang Muchen a look that seemed to say there was no need to thank me. Right. What the instructor and Fang Yao said was right. Incredible, Zhang Muchen's talent has evolved. I'm going to trick you, Zhang Muchen is the one favored by heaven. Why didn't I hug such a thick thigh? He got through the training camp in 3 days. Is this still the Zhang Muchen I know? The whole bus exploded instantly. The classmates were all shocked. I originally thought Fang Yao was strong enough, but I didn't expect there was a master. The Zhang Muchen they knew was just an autistic waste who molested Yi Xianer and stayed at home. But today, all the past impressions have been wiped out. Zhang Muchen, it's my fault, please forgive me, please. Huang Feifei was already crying, her eyes were red, and she was pleading. Her body couldn't help but tremble. How stupid must I be to go against a favored one? Snapped. Who would have thought? Su Xiaoshui slapped Huang Feifei on the face with her backhand. She showed no mercy with this slap. With full hand strength, Huang Feifei was beaten into a pig's head. But she didn't dare to have an attack at all. She clenched her fists tightly, and her palms were covered with blood. This slap will teach you not to talk nonsense in the future. Su Xiaoshui said in a cold voice, hating that iron could not become steel. She had persuaded Huang Feifei so many times, and she had done her best. But Huang Feifei just didn't listen and insisted on going her own way, and as a result, she suffered retribution in this world. Everyone looked at each other in surprise, but also felt that they deserved the good fight. Noon. Hundreds of buses entered a valley and stopped at an artificially leveled playground. Dozens of buildings stand around the playground, and a steel fence blocks the valley. This steel wall is tall and thick, with power grids and monitoring equipment installed on the top. The senior high school students got out of the car one after another, picked up their weapons, and formed a long queue consciously. Looking at the steel wall not far away. The candidates' eyes were filled with anticipation and nervousness. Behind the wall is the examination room that determines their lives. Suddenly, several groups of soldiers filed out of the building and stood on the wall, ready to fight. At the same time, the face of a middle-aged man appeared on the screen. His face was stern and his eyes were bright, and he shouted. From now on, I, Zhang Mingyuan, will preside over this college entrance examination. Everyone stands at attention. Private conversations are strictly prohibited. Violators will be expelled from the examination room. As soon as these words came out, the atmosphere of the entire scene suddenly changed and was filled with solemnity. The candidates couldn't help but hold their heads high, stood neatly as required, and looked straight ahead, as if they were being reviewed. Zhang Mingyuan nodded with satisfaction and continued to announce the rules of the examination room. From now on, the candidates who hear their names will enter the wall and have their qi and blood tested. Only those candidates who pass the qi and blood test will be eligible for the actual exam. There were all high school seniors present, so they were not surprised to hear this. They already know that the college entrance examination is mainly composed of two parts, which are combined to determine the results and rankings. The first and most important score is the vitality value. Candidates whose vitality value does not reach 50 will not even have the chance to enter the actual examination. This rule may seem cold, but it is actually for the sake of the safety of the candidates. Because practical exams are more dangerous than training camps, setting a threshold can effectively avoid casualties. The college entrance examination is an examination room for selecting talents, not a meat-grinding ground. It goes against common sense to let candidates who are not strong enough die in vain. Class 7 of Riverruns No. 1 Middle School should be determined. Class 8 of Haicheng No. 2 Middle School, happy and peaceful. Leng Yun, Class 1, Zhongcheng No. 1 Middle School. As the announcement sounded, the candidates whose names were read walked out of the queue. A girl with beautiful features walked out of the crowd. But her eyes were cold. There is quite an aura of keeping strangers away. The appearance of Leng Yun attracted the attention of many people. But due to the rules of the examination room, everyone suppressed their inner discussions. Watch her walk into the wall. He is the one favored by heaven in Zhongcheng. Zhang Muchen took a look. It takes 1 year to reach level 16, which is indeed very strong. In the past college entrance examination, it was also ranked T1. It is strong enough to compete for the top 3 and should not be underestimated. As time passed, most of the candidates went behind the wall to take qi and blood tests. Bingcheng No. 1 Middle School, Class 1, Ma Lian. Lucheng No. 3 Middle School Class 3, Beijing. Haicheng No. 1 Middle School Class 7, Zhang Muchen. Hear the radio. Zhang Muchen also walked out of the queue, passed through the iron gate, and came to the back of the steel fence. There are countless qi and blood instruments lined up here, and there is also a huge screen that displays the ranking of qi and blood values in real time. First place, Chu Xiaoxiao. Second place, Xu Wei. Third place, Leng Yun. Zhang Muchen glanced at the monitor and found that it was pretty much what he expected. Those 3 heavenly beloveds had a huge advantage and occupied the top 3 positions one after another. Soon it was Zhang Muchen's turn. He walked to a blood meter. There is also a staff member and an invigilator next to him. Candidates please extend their index finger. The staff took out a blood needle and said. Zhang Muchen glanced at the blood-taking needle. He had something to say, but he pressed it. The invigilator with a determined look on his face noticed his action and frowned and asked. Is the candidate feeling uncomfortable? Zhang Muchen was speechless, shook his head and said. No, please start. Finished. The staff took the blood needle with their hand, pointed it at the index finger and pricked it down hard. But no blood was seen. What happened? The staff was confused. Gritting his teeth. Use more force. In the end, the skin still couldn't be broken. When I was forging my skin, my talent strengthened my skin membrane, and even a first-level blood-taking needle couldn't break through the defense. Zhang Muchen had expected this and was not surprised. What an amazing defense. It's enough to stand shoulder to shoulder with a second-level warrior. The invigilator was shocked and said in a deep voice. Change to the second-level blood-taking needle. The staff wiped their sweat. This is the first time I have encountered this situation. However, the examination room was also prepared. He quickly took out a new box of blood needles, his eyes full of regret. Never imagined. There will actually be a day when I can use the second-level blood-taking needle. The key is to use it on a high school senior. Classmate, please bear with me. A reminder from the staff. With a cautious look on his face, he stabbed hard. This time, the skin was successfully broken open, and blood rolled out and was absorbed by the blood needle. Dip. The blood value is 910. The moment I saw this value, the invigilator and the staff both widened their eyes and felt incredible. There is actually a student with a vitality value as high as 910 points. This is a new history. Shocking. Me. The staff was too frightened to speak. It took him a few words to calm down. The invigilator took out a watch and a unique belt, and said with complicated eyes. Congratulations to the candidates for passing the Qi and blood test. This is the smart watch used for the test and the belt that can be used for escape and storage. Zhang Muchen took these two things. Press the dial of the smart watch. Suddenly the watch made an electronic sound. Confirmed successfully, the candidate is Zhang Muchen from Class 7, Grade 3, Haicheng No. 1 Middle School, and his current actual combat points are 0. Single quote. The smart watch is average and has no features. Only this belt is very strange. There is a round spherical shell in the middle, which seems to have a special effect when pressed. At the same time, there are a series of survival gadgets on both sides of the belt, including matches, water purification tablets, and hemostatic bandages. Candidates are asked to go to the next area and wait for the start of the practical exam. The invigilator took a deep look at Zhang Muchen and then said. Good. Zhang Muchen left the test bench area and went straight to another flat ground. There is a huge space here, and there is still a steel wall opposite. There are many chairs placed in the venue, and there is also a display showing the health value ranking. There were many guards standing around, but they did not restrict the candidates from talking freely. Who is this number 1 Zhang Muchen? What a strange name. Who is he? He has the ability to overpower 3 heavenly beloveds. There are students from Haicheng number 1 middle school here. Do you know who is Zhang Muchen? If I can hug Zhang Muchen's lap, then I will be safe in the college entrance examination this time. Since no movement around is allowed. So the candidates whispered, trying to find Zhang Muchen. Including the 3 heavenly beloveds, they couldn't help but be curious and wanted to see what Zhang Muchen looked like. They believed that their talents are superior to others. I thought the top pick would be decided among the 3. Unexpectedly, Cheng Yaojin appeared halfway. Took away first place. And no one noticed. The Zhang Muchen they were looking for had already entered. Zhang Muchen casually found a seat and closed his eyelids without publicizing his identity. Brother, why, you won first place again. What cheating method did you use? In some corner. Zhang Yuanzhou's eyes were red and he looked at the ranking list with hatred. He held his right cheek and felt a terrible pain. Nausea. Uncomfortable. Unbearable. Zhang Muchen's ranking was actually higher than him. Why? He is obviously the better person. He is also the one who is favored by the Zhang family. But now, he, Zhang Yuanzhou, was stepped on. Haicheng. Ji Guangliang, who was holding a chicken coop on his head, came to the conference room belatedly. The conference room was already filled with teachers from the 3rd grade of high school. Everyone is eagerly looking forward to the announcement of the Qi and blood list. Saw Ji Guangliang walking in. The dean, who combed his hair meticulously and frowned at the corners of his eyes, said coldly. Teacher Ji, the college entrance examination has begun. Why are you so late? Are you too embarrassed to look at the performance of your students? Ji Guangliang didn't seem to hear it. He sat down in the empty seat in the last row, thinking hard. What happened to Zhang Muchen that made the city lord's mansion ask me to sign a confidentiality agreement? Ji Guangliang didn't want to be late either. But last night, suddenly, people from the city lord's mansion came to his door and signed a series of confidentiality regulations with him. The key is, The confidential subject is Zhang Muchen. There is an F-level gifted student in their 7th class. This thing is so weird. It worried him deeply. This involves all Ji Guangliang's thoughts. When he saw Ji Guangliang, he ignored him. He also looks like a dead pig who is not afraid of boiling water. The dean frowned, showing a hint of displeasure, and scolded. Ji Guangliang, the class you teach has the worst ranking, and you are still so arrogant. You have absolutely no teacher ethics. I think you are done as a teacher. The words just fell. The conference room monitor screen flashed. A leaderboard appears. Look, everyone, the Qi and Blood list is out. Everyone looked up. Even the dean didn't bother scolding Ji Guangliang. But look at this. Suddenly a heated discussion broke out in the conference room. Because the number 1 on the Qi and Blood list is Zhang Muchen. Zhang Muchen. This name sounds familiar. I seem to have heard of it somewhere. Hey, is it Zhang Muchen from class 7 who molested Yi Shaner? I remembered, he is Zhang Yuanzhou's brother. But how could he be number 1? I saw Zhang Muchen's name on the top of the list. Countless pairs of shocked eyes fell on Ji Guangliang, who was immersed in thought. Huh. This. Ji Guangliang looked up and saw Zhang Muchen's name. His pupils shrank and his whole body trembled. In a daze, I figured out many things. Why did the city lord's palace come to him to sign a confidentiality agreement? Strict requirements. Zhang Muchen's privacy must not be exposed. I understand, that's what it is, Zhang Muchen, you are promising. Ji Guangliang's eyes were very complicated. My heart was filled with relief and a hint of emotion. Since Zhang Muchen can be ranked first on the Qi and Blood ranking. There is no doubt about his talent, he must be a transcendent S level. Teacher Ji, don't be silent. Is this Zhang Muchen from your class? Lao Ji, you hid it so deeply. There was a blessed person in your class, and you actually hid it till today. I remembered that giant cyan dragon a few days ago. Could it be Zhang Muchen's awakened talent? The more the teachers talked, the more excited they became. In terms of martial arts, their potential is limited and they have no way out. The dream of being a teacher is naturally to teach and educate people, hoping that one day the world will be full of talents. If only one of his students could be blessed by heaven. Enough to become a lifelong conversation piece. But the probability is lower than buying a lottery ticket. Yes, Teacher Ji, don't you want to tell everyone about classmate Zhang Muchen? The dean's face smiled like a chrysanthemum, and his eyes shone with excitement. Sorry everyone, I signed a confidentiality agreement and cannot say anything about Zhang Muchen. Ji Guangliang shook his head and said firmly. The confidentiality regulations are strict, but they don't mean that you can't say a word. But he just doesn't want to say it now. Let you look down on me and my students in class 7. In this extraordinary time, celebrities who can only sing and dance are far less eye-catching than warriors. Behind every strong martial artist, there are often a large number of fans. There are a total of 2 events that make warriors famous. The first one is the college entrance examination. This exam is the first test in life for countless martial arts geniuses. Once this difficulty is overcome, it is like a carp jumping over a dragon's gate, completing a transformation. Next is the heavyweight national martial arts competition. The national martial arts competition is extremely valuable and brings together the most talented warriors of an era. Not only did it dominate the TV ratings, it also became the focus of heated discussions across the country. At the same time, countless dazzling players stand out in competitions every year and become household names in one fell swoop. Zhang Muchen is ranked number 1 on this year's college entrance examination Qi and Blood ranking. How come I've never heard of this guy? I found out. This is a candidate from Haicheng number 1 middle school. What? The information says F-level talent. Are you kidding? He can overpower the 3 most favored ones. Are you telling me that he is an F-level talent? I am also an F-level talent. How come I don't know that an F-level talent is so powerful? After the Qi and Blood test is completed, the results will be announced. As soon as the list comes out, countless netizens who paid attention to the college entrance examination were shocked. An unknown F-level talented warrior actually ranks first on the Qi and Blood list. Totally incredible. Zhang Muchen's name also began to be known along with the list. Zhang Muchen, why is it you? How could it be you? Why is it at the top of the Qi and Blood ranking? It's really weird. Zhang Zian, who had just finished her retreat, was stunned when she saw the qi and blood list. She tapped her long and slender fingers slowly on the table and closed her eyes to think. An ordinary movement, but like a pianist playing, it looks very elegant. Talent evolution is hard to come by. Many A-level talented warriors have been searching for it all their lives, but it is difficult to find an opportunity. I don't believe you can have this opportunity. I thought about it for a while. Zhang Zian still didn't understand, her heart was full of doubts, and she couldn't help mumbling to herself. Even if it is placed in the holy Jingwu University where geniuses gather, the chance of talent evolution is also very low. Throughout the year, there are only a few lucky people who are gifted with evolution. And who are the students of Shengjingwu University? Which one is not the proud son of heaven? His martial arts talents are outstanding, far incomparable to others. But Zhang Muchen was an F-level warrior and was kicked out of the Zhang family. No background, no ability. It is simply impossible to reach this kind of opportunity. Is it a cult? Well, it means that cults like to encourage others and use this method to enhance the strength of warriors. Zhang Zian felt that she was very close to the truth. She pursed her lips, a cold light flashing in her eyes. If his brother really defected to a cult, it would pollute the Zhang family. Then she, Zhang Zian, will definitely take action and destroy her relatives for justice. No matter what secrets you hide, I will definitely find out. Let the truth be revealed. Zhang Zian showed a smile. She could already foresee the future and see Zhang Muchen's tragic end. Let me tell you why you have this confidence. Because she is the vice president of the Heavenly Love Association. Master huge energy that ordinary people cannot imagine. Even in the holy capital martial arts university where many geniuses gather, few people dare to go against the will of the Heavenly Destiny Association. Thanks for watching.